The studio lights beamed brightly. Cameras rolled. A live audience murmured as Donald Trump sat confidently across from the host. The discussion was intense: policy, economy, future plans. But then, the host smirked. "Mr. Trump, we have a special guest." The crowd turned. A small boy, no older than 10, nervously stepped forward. He clutched a microphone, his tiny hands trembling. The room grew silent. Trump raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "Go ahead, kid," he said, voice softer than usual. The boy took a deep breath. His question was simple, yet it would leave everyone in the room speechless. The boy swallowed hard, adjusting the mic. His eyes darted between Trump and the audience. The silence was deafening. The host leaned in. "What's your question, son?" he encouraged. The boy hesitated, his voice barely a whisper. "Mr. Trump, do you ever feel lonely?" The room stiffened. Even Trump seemed caught off guard. For a man used to tough questions, this one was different. The audience leaned in, waiting. Trump studied the boy for a moment, then leaned forward. His expression softened. "That's a very good question," he said, his voice quieter than before. Everyone held their breath. Trump tapped his fingers on the desk, his expression unreadable. Worked day and night, and I made it. But, he hesitated. Success comes at a cost. The boy gripped the mic. "What cost?" Trump's jaw tightened. "Time. Moments you can't get back. Birthdays missed. Friends lost." The audience was stunned. This wasn't the fiery, defiant Trump they knew. This was a man revealing his regrets. The boy's lips parted as if realizing something. Trump finally looked at him. "Why do you ask, kid?" The boy shifted, voice barely above a whisper. "Because I feel lonely too." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Trump's brows furrowed. "Really? But you're just a kid." The boy shrugged. "My dad works a lot. Mom says he's busy making a future for us. But sometimes I just want him to be home." His voice cracked. Something in Trump's expression changed. A deep understanding. A pause stretched between them. The audience felt it too. This wasn't just an interview anymore. Trump leaned in. "What's your name, son?" The boy swallowed hard. "Daniel." Trump nodded. "Daniel, let me tell you something." Trump folded his hands. "Your dad loves you. He works hard for you. But I'll tell you a secret. Success isn't just about money. It's about moments." Daniel listened, eyes locked onto Trump's. "When I was younger, I chased dreams. I built buildings, made deals. But I missed bedtime stories, missed games in the backyard." He paused. "And one day you realize, money can't buy those moments back." The room was silent. Even the host seemed captivated. Trump turned to the cameras. "Maybe someone watching right now needs to hear this." His voice was firm. "Go home. Be there." For a moment, no one spoke. Then, a slow clap. One person, then another. Within seconds, the entire room erupted in applause. Daniel's eyes glistened. Trump sat back, nodding. "You asked me if I feel lonely," he said. "The truth is, everyone does sometimes. But the people who love us, they're what matter." The host, still speechless, finally spoke. "Mr. Trump, that was powerful." Trump smirked, regaining his usual confidence. Well, I do have my moments. Laughter rippled through the audience. But Daniel? He just smiled. Because for the first time in a long time, he felt heard. Backstage, a man wiped his eyes. It was Daniel's father. He had rushed from work, catching the interview's final moments, his hands clenched into fists, regret weighing on him. Trump's words echoed in his mind. Money can't buy those moments back. Taking a deep breath, he stepped forward, pushing past the crowd. His heart pounded. He had spent years building a future for his son, but had he lost sight of the present? Daniel, still on stage, glanced toward the movement. His eyes widened. "Dad?" The audience turned. Trump leaned forward. Something big was about to happen. Daniel's father stood at the edge of the stage, hesitation in his steps. The crowd watched, breathless. Trump tilted his head. "You his dad?" The man nodded, voice hoarse. "Yes, I came as soon as I heard." His gaze locked onto Daniel. "Son, He hesitated, emotions choking his words. Daniel clutched the mic. "You're here." His voice trembled. The father took a shaky step forward. "I should have been here sooner." His voice broke. "I'm sorry." The room was silent. No politics, no debates. Just a father and son reconnecting. Trump leaned back. This was more than an interview now. Trump exhaled, watching the emotional moment unfold. Then he spoke. "You know, people think power is about wealth or status." He glanced at Daniel's father. "But true power? It's knowing when to put family first." The man nodded, swallowing hard. "You're right." Daniel sniffled, stepping forward. His father hesitated, then dropped to one knee, arms wide open. Without another word, Daniel ran into his embrace. The audience gasped, then clapped. Some wiped away tears. Trump smirked. "Looks like we got our answer." The host cleared his throat. "Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think anyone saw that coming." The screen faded to black. Daniel clung to his father, his small hands gripping tightly. The audience watched in stunned silence. The moment stretched, raw, real, unforgettable. Trump leaned in, his voice softer. "Son, what's one thing you'd tell your dad right now?" Daniel's lips quivered. "I just wanted you to see me." His father squeezed his eyes shut, guilt washing over him. "I see you now, son, and I won't look away again." A murmur rippled through the audience. This wasn't just about politics, business, or headlines. It was about something deeper, a second chance at what truly mattered. The host, still caught in the moment, adjusted his mic. "Well, that wasn't where we expected this interview to go." Trump chuckled. "Life's funny like that." He turned to the father. "Let me ask you, if you could go back, what would you do differently?" The man sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I'd stop chasing success long enough to realize what I already had." The words hit the audience like a wave. Parents exchanged glances. Some wiped their eyes. Trump nodded. "That's wisdom right there?" The show was no longer just entertainment. It was a wake-up call. A single clap echoed in the room, then another. Within seconds, the entire studio erupted in applause. Daniel's father hugged him tighter, whispering, "I love you, son." Daniel whispered back, "I love you too, Dad." Trump glanced at the crowd, then back at Daniel. "You got your answer, kid, and something tells me this is just the beginning." The father looked at Trump, gratitude in his eyes. "Thank you for this." Trump smirked. "Don't thank me. Thank the kid who had the courage to ask the right question." The applause grew louder. The moment was unforgettable. As the show neared its end, the host turned to Trump. "Any final thoughts?" Trump leaned forward, hands clasped. "Yeah, people think success is about what you build. But the greatest thing you'll ever build?" He looked at Daniel and his father. "It's family." The words hung in the air, powerful, unshakable. Daniel smiled up at his dad, who wiped away tears. The cameras panned out. The audience, still emotional, clapped once more. And as the credits rolled, one thing was clear. This wasn't just another interview. It was a moment that would be remembered forever. The video of the show spread like wildfire. Social media lit up. "Trump teaches a father the value of family," one headline read. Others called it the most unexpectedly emotional interview of the year. People weren't just watching, they were reflecting. Fathers across the world sat with their kids that night, talking, listening, and realizing what really mattered. Daniel's story was now everyone's story. Trump, back in his office, scrolled through the reactions. He leaned back and smirked. "Didn't see that coming, did they?" he muttered. Sometimes, the most powerful moments weren't planned. They just happened. Daniel's father couldn't sleep that night. His mind replayed his son's words. "I just wanted you to see me." He had spent years chasing success, thinking it was for his family. But in the process, he had missed what truly mattered. He grabbed his phone, opened a blank message, and typed, "Daniel, I promise I'll be better. Love, Dad." Before he could hit send, his door creaked open. Daniel stood there, sleepy-eyed. "Can I sleep here tonight?" His father didn't hesitate. He lifted his son into bed, holding him close. No words were needed. Love had already spoken. The show's clip flooded the internet. Millions watched, shared, and commented. "Never thought I'd tear up watching Trump. This made me call my dad after years." The impact was massive. Even celebrities weighed in. "Powerful moment," one tweeted. Another wrote, "Sometimes, life gives us wake-up calls in the most unexpected ways." Trump, always known for his boldness, simply tweeted, "Family is everything." Daniel's father received messages from friends, co-workers, even strangers. The world had seen his pain, his regret. But more importantly, they had seen his second chance. Now, it was up to him to make it count. The next morning, Daniel's father woke up early. Instead of heading straight to work, he made breakfast. Pancakes, just like Daniel loved. When his son walked in, his eyes widened. "You made these?" His father nodded, pulling out a chair. "Sit. Let's eat together." For the first time in years, they had breakfast without distractions. No phone, no emails, just them. Daniel smiled between bites. His father had always been there physically, but today, for the first time, he was truly present. It wasn't just breakfast, it was a new beginning. Back in his office, Trump leaned back in his chair, watching the viral clip once more. He had been in thousands of interviews, but this one felt different. The raw emotion, the truth, it struck a nerve. Ivanka knocked on the door. "That was powerful," she said. Trump smirked. "Sometimes you don't need a plan, just honesty." She nodded. People are listening. He knew she was right. For once, it wasn't about politics or business. It was about something deeper, something that connected everyone. And that, he realized, was the real power of influence. Later that day, Daniel's father walked into his office. But something was different. He looked at the picture on his desk, Daniel's 5th birthday. How had time passed so fast? Taking a deep breath, he picked up his phone and called his assistant. "Cancel my evening meetings." His assistant hesitated. "Are you sure?" "Yes," he said firmly. "I need to be somewhere more important." For the first time, his priorities were clear. He wasn't just a CEO, he was a father. And tonight, Daniel wouldn't wait at the dinner table alone. As Daniel finished his homework, his phone buzzed. A message from his dad. "Be ready at 7 p.m., special dinner tonight." Confused but excited, he quickly changed. At exactly 7, his father arrived, not in his usual black sedan, but in a casual outfit. "Come on, buddy," he said with a smile. They drove in silence until they reached a cozy diner, one they hadn't visited in years. As they sat, Daniel's father looked at him. I want to know more about your dreams, your thoughts. Let's talk. For the first time, Daniel felt truly seen. That evening, Trump sat at his desk, scrolling through thousands of comments. The clip had gone viral. Millions had watched. A notification popped up. Trending, Trump's heartfelt moment with a kid. He picked up his phone and tweeted, "Sometimes the simplest questions remind us of what truly matters. Family, honor, integrity. Never forget what's important." The tweet exploded instantly. The world wasn't used to seeing this side of him. But tonight, it wasn't about politics. It was about being human. Daniel took a bite of his burger, hesitating. "Dad, why are we here?" His father exhaled, setting his drink down. "Because I've been doing things wrong." Daniel's eyes widened. His father continued, "I've been so focused on work that I forgot what matters. You." Daniel swallowed hard. He had dreamed of hearing these words, but never thought they'd come. For the first time, his father wasn't speaking like a businessman. He was speaking like a dad. Tears welled in Daniel's eyes, but he quickly wiped them away. "Then let's start over," he said, smiling. Daniel's father reached across the table, placing his hand on his son's. "I can't change the past, but I promise to be better," he said. Daniel felt a lump in his throat. He had spent years feeling unseen, but tonight was different. "You mean that?" he asked cautiously. His father nodded. 100%. For the first time in years, Daniel didn't feel like just another responsibility. He felt like a son, loved and valued. "Okay," he whispered. "Let's start fresh." And with that, a new chapter in their relationship began. Just as they finished their meal, Daniel's father's phone buzzed. He frowned. "It's from Trump's office," he muttered, answering quickly. "Sir, Mr. Trump would like to meet you and your son personally," the voice on the other end said. Daniel's eyes widened. "Wait, Trump wants to meet us?" "Why?" Daniel asked. His father smirked. Apparently he saw the interview clip, and he has something important to say. Daniel's heart pounded. What could Trump possibly want to tell them? The next evening, Daniel and his father arrived at Trump Tower. Security guided them to a private lounge. A few moments later, Donald Trump walked in. His presence was commanding, but his expression was warm. "Daniel," he greeted, shaking the boy's hand, "you asked a simple question, and it reminded me of something important." Daniel gulped. "What's that?" Trump smiled. "That success isn't just about money or power, it's about family." Daniel's father looked at Trump, then at his son, realizing that sometimes wisdom comes from the most unexpected places. Trump leaned forward, his gaze locked on Daniel's father. "I built an empire, but at the end of the day, family is the only thing that truly matters." Daniel's father nodded, deep in thought. "Success means nothing if you don't have someone to share it with," Trump continued. "Don't make the mistakes I almost did." Daniel's father swallowed hard. Trump's words hit deep. He turned to his son. "I hear you, Daniel, and I promise, from this day forward, I'll do better." Daniel smiled. "That's all I ever wanted." As they left Trump Tower, Daniel felt something he hadn't in years. Hope. His father walked beside him, silent yet different. "You okay, Dad?" Daniel asked. His father exhaled. "Yeah, just realizing I've been chasing the wrong things." Daniel nudged him playfully. "It's not too late to change." His father smirked. "No, it's not." For the first time, they walked side by side, not as a businessman and his son, but as a father and his boy. And that was more valuable than any empire. The internet exploded with the story. News anchors debated it. Social media flooded with reactions, and Trump's words trended for days. But for Daniel, the true impact wasn't online. It was in the way his father started showing up, not just physically, but emotionally. One viral moment had changed everything. Daniel finally had what he always wanted. Not just a father, but a dad. And sometimes, that's the most powerful story of all. Weeks later, Daniel received a letter, signed by Trump himself. Never forget what truly matters. Keep your father close, and never stop asking the important questions. Daniel smiled, tucking the letter away. As he and his father sat on the porch, watching the sunset, he realized this was just the beginning. Not of a new business venture, not of fame or fortune, but of a real unbreakable bond. And that, in the end, was the greatest success of all.